What's poppin', fam? Welcome to Don't Touch My Mindset, a podcast that is designed to uplift, inspire, and motivate you, and most importantly, share tools to help you protect that mindset. Welcome back. I am your host, Jay Chase, and I am feeling inspired today. I'm happy. I'm excited to be back here with my favorite peeps. First and foremost, thank you. Thank you so much for rocking with me. We are almost 2 months into this podcast, and you guys are just fueling my fire. Please keep the love, support, ratings, and reviews coming. With that being said, happy Mindset Day. You guys like that? Take that narrative off Wednesday, throw away hump day, replace it with mindset day. Yeah, I like that. Oh my gosh, I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you guys for listening. So instead of telling you, I'm just going to show you. I am working on something super special designed just for you, my day ones who've been rocking with me since the trailer of this podcast and to now. And everybody in between. So thank you for all the support. Once again, keep rocking with me. If you haven't already, follow me on Instagram at @VJChase. That's where you can follow the show. Make sure you're not missing an episode and stay up to date with this special project that I'm working on. Get excited. I'm excited. But enough with all the boring announcements. Let's get to the juicy part. This week's mindset. Yes. So hello, ego. You see, I believe when you lower yourself, the world will elevate you, and vice versa. When you elevate yourself, the world will lower you. When you arrive at your peak enlightenment, wherever that is, whatever that might be, then and only then you can understand that your peak is the same as your neighbor's. And at that peak, you can see everyone's holiness. That's a form of humbleness. That's a form of the golden rule. Treat others how you want to be treated. Ego can often block this and or cause this. So when we're feeling entitled, when we're feeling privileged, sometimes we just need to say, hello, ego. How are you? It's been a minute. Or when we're getting ready to step into the sea of creation, into the unknown, our ego often tries to pull us back to the shore where it's comfortable. And we just got to say, hello, ego. How are you? It's been a minute. Or when we keep clashing with someone we just met, it may be our spirit's way of asking us to look closely at ourselves. See, when you don't like someone and you're trying to figure out what it is you don't like about them, see whether you have a similar flaw within yourself. The flaw that you immediately noticed in someone else is probably the flaw that you have within you too. If you didn't have that flaw, you probably wouldn't have noticed it so quickly. It's only in certain circumstances that people are good or bad. And it's only in certain circumstances that our ego or our imagination comes out. More often, it's the ego. So this week's mindset, we're going to dive into that a little bit. I'm going to try and tell you my tools, tips, and tricks to help keep that at bay, to keep that ego off you, to where you can just say, hello, ego. How are you? It's been a minute. Now, ego is the Latin word for I. So ego is technically your conscious mind, your identity, how you identify with self. Now, you can identify too much with that and be full of yourself, or you can humble yourself and see yourself as the way that you see your neighbor. That's kind of my main focus here. Also with, I get trapped in my ego of a past life. That's the heavy part for me, is trying to break the chains of who I was, put down that baggage, for I feel like my past should be my vehicle to my future, not the baggage that I bring with me. And my ego tries to remind me that I went through that fire, that pressure that I went through, I'm not going to get to where I want to go because of that. So we're also going to try and put that down and tap into our imagination a little bit. I am excited. Oh my gosh, yes. You see, I was just jamming it out with my mentor the other day, and they told me that the cool thing about the mind is that it doesn't know a real thought from a fake thought. Basically, the mind doesn't know what's real or not. Our senses do. And The cool thing about a thought is that it's created twice. It has to be created twice for it to become real. Once in the mind, then again in life. The sad thing is that the ego is a master at this game. It will flood your mind with thoughts that are untrue, things you're trying to break from. Flood your mind with them and hope that one comes to life. Hope that one is recreated in real life. One stops you from going to where you want to go. One stops you from doing what you want to do. That's what the ego prowls on. So it's our job to fight back. We lower ourselves. It's our job to elevate our imagination and say, you know what, I can do that. If not me, then who? Everything I can be, I must be. I was made for this. So hello, ego. How are you? It's been a minute. But how do we fight back? How do we put that ego down? How do we put ego down and tap into imagination? Well, first and foremost, have faith in God above all else. Don't put any limits on God. But let's zoom back into a human experience. Those voices are loud at times, and our imagination can be quiet sometimes. So we have to find out how to quiet the inner critic and encourage the inner coach. This is what I'm excited about. You have the choice of which one to listen to. You know, old ancient Chinese proverb, which wolf to feed, it still applies right here, right now. In your mind today, in my mind today, I battle with ego. Sometimes I don't think I'm going to step forward into the person that I'm supposed to be, that I'm made to be. Sometimes I don't think I can co-create because my ego holds me down, pulls me back to the comfortable. The nah, you don't got to do this. But yes, I do. I have to. If I want to be everything that I know I can be. So we start to chip away at the things that don't serve us. I believe we have to take an extremely hard look at ourselves, at our strengths, at our weaknesses, at the things that choke us up, at the things that set us on fire. We have to leverage our imagination against the ego and feed into the imagination more so that inner coach is louder than that inner critic. I think we have to fully know ourselves in order to keep our ego at bay. And that takes a lot of work. That takes a lot of self-love, a lot of self-care, a lot of self-talk, positive self-talk at that. It takes all the tools, tips, and tricks and the mindsets that we've put in our mental health toolkit to look at ourselves, to check that ego, to get that reality check. Are we aware of our weaknesses? What do they look like physically and mentally, you know? How do I feel about my weaknesses? I don't know. That's the ego talking. I believe that when we become confident in who we are becoming and who we are, the ego tries to speak up, tries to clear its little throat. But your imagination, your inner coach is screaming. What comes easily to you? What are you really good at? What are my personality traits and strengths, you know? Your inner coach is yelling at you to embody who you are. Be confident in who you are now and be confident in who you will become. Be confident in the things that you will do. Your imagination is limitless. Your mind is your only limit. But that can get hard to remember sometimes. And in times like that, I got to take a look at the inner landscape. How am I watering the grass on the inside? How am I taking care of my feelings? How am I taking care of me? Am I doing my self-care? Am I doing my gratitude list? You know, every morning I try to write 10 things that I'm grateful for. Read them back to me. And some mornings I write 7 because the ego gets in the way. But imagine if I wrote 10 and how I would feel. See, that's the thing. We got to tap into that imagination and fuel our confidence. It seems like imagination often comes from regret or a place of lack. Think about it. When somebody tells us some great news, we often reply, oh, I couldn't imagine. It had to be so beautiful. I couldn't imagine seeing that. Why not? You're telling me your imagination's not as big as that? No, that's the ego talking, pulling you back into shore when you're stepping out into the sea of creation. Imagine that. Think that. Encourage that inner coach for you to go see that. Turn that thought that the mind doesn't know if it's real or not into real life. into your physicality. But make sure you're listening to that inner coach. I really hope this has helped you, or even inspired you to ask yourself some tough questions, to sit down with them, meditate on them, maybe even journal on them. What do you want your future to look like? Do you want to step out into the sea of creation? Or are you always going to listen to that inner critic that said, you couldn't do it then, what makes you think you can do it now? I really hope that you tap into your imagination more. Close your eyes and chisel away at the things that no longer serve you. The limiting beliefs, the limiting thoughts. Thank you guys so much for rocking with me. You guys are always so solid. If you haven't already, man, follow me on Instagram. You get updates with the shows, you get recaps, you get special offers. Yes, what? Special offers? But I'm telling you, I am working on something special for you guys. So please, 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 come back next Wednesday. Keep rocking with me. Next Wednesday's the 2-month anniversary. I got something special for you. So thank you again. Please rate, review, share this episode, share the show. Until next time, stay focused, stay inspired, and please, please, don't let anyone touch your mindset.